She's had her breakfast, but she'll probably want a drink.
Oh, I think we can manage that, can't we? Listen, what do you think about me taking her over to playgroup in Otten this afternoon? Lynn's taking little Peter and said we'd ditch a lift.
Sounds like you've already got it sorted, Archie.
Well, yeah. Only if you think it's a good idea.
Yeah, of course I do. It is good to meet new friends.
You sure?
Of course I'm sure. You're doing a brilliant job with her, you know. Anybody can see that. Right then. You have a good day, sweetheart. See you later.
See you. Yeah.
Did you think he was quiet this morning?
Sorry, what did you say?
Robert, did you think he was quiet this morning?
Oh, maybe a little. Do you think he's still upset about the pony?
I know he is. I just don't know what to do about it.
Children are very resilient, you know. I remember when Jack was small, he fell off a ladder and got a bump on his head the size of an egg. He swore he'd never climb again. But an hour later, he was back on top of the stack just the same.
So he was stubborn even then?
Worse. And Robert's just like him.
Yes. It's just a pity he's lost his riding lessons.
Have you ever been to Kleinborn?
The opera festival? No. It's not my sort of thing. Why?
Oh, well.
Well, come on, Annie. Why do you want to know about Kleinborn?
Well, it just so happens I'm going to see Cosi van Tute.
One of your new Spanish friends, is she?
The opera.
I know it's an opera.
Well, what's so funny? I've got a ticket.
Well, come on, Ma. You don't like opera.
How would you know?
Well, you've never said you did, and you've never been.
Exactly, so it's about time I did. All these years, I might have been missing something I really liked.
Morning, Joe. Can I have a word?
Have to be quick. I've got a lot on today.
Well, I'll try not to keep you. It's about Elizabeth, Mrs. Feldman.
What about her?
Well, she's on a bit of a downer at the moment. Go easy on her, will you? Try not to push her too much about the job. Sure she'll come round to your way of thinking.
Well, I take your point, but I can't wait for her decision forever.
Well, I realise that.
Well, like I said, I've got a lot to do.
She's in the same boat.
I'm sure she is.
She's under a lot of pressure at the moment. You'd be amazed what lengths Alan's going to keep her. Pay rises, holidays, all sorts.
So what are you trying to say? She doesn't want the job?
No, I'm just saying he's not making it easier for her to leave. Obviously, he doesn't want to lose her.
Well, what do you want me to do? I've offered her the job. It's up to her whether she takes it or not. I can't do any more than that. It's up to Elizabeth now.
I just wanted you to know all the facts.
Yeah, thanks. I'll bear that in mind.
Sorry to catch you. Thanks for the chat.
So that's what you're up to?
Yeah. Thought I'd chop him up into firewood, only knowing Frank Tate would probably charge us for the wood. So I'll let him have them back intact.
You mean you're going to pull them all up?
All those on Emmerdale land, eh?
But they are rights of way, public footpaths.
Well, I'm not saying they aren't. I don't have to make it easier for Frank Tate's ramblers, do I?
Don't you think it's just a bit petty?
There's nothing petty about it.
Oh, come on, Jack. All this tit for tat. You're keeping the argument going.
Me? It wasn't me that started all this, was it?
But it's going to be you that finishes it. Is that it?
Exactly.
Has Mum talked to you about it?
Yeah, she said some things.
Like what?
Well, she doesn't think Archie's the right person to be looking after Alice. Not full time.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, I know that's what she thinks. But Kathy, you know how good he is with her. Didn't you tell her?
Yeah, I said he was doing a good job.
That's just it, though. He's not just sat there with her. I mean, he's taking her out, doing things. It's what she needs.
You don't have to convince me, Nick. I know you wouldn't let Archie do it if you didn't think it was good for Alice.
I just wish Mum would see that. She's never been like this before, Kathy. I mean, she was the one who stood by me more than anybody else when Elsa left.
I think you should give it a bit longer.
Oh, I don't know. How long, though? That's just it. I feel like I'm trying to convince her all the time.
I know, but she can't help worrying. She just wishes she could do more for you.
I don't need any help, Kathy. Not with Archie looking after Alice all the time. That's the whole point. She doesn't have to worry.
I've told her that.
Well, then try again, will you, please? I just wanted to see reason.
Jack, what the hell's going on?
I'm returning Frank Tate's property.
I can see that. Why?
Because it's cluttering up Emmerdale land.
Oh, come on. What does it prove?
It proves I'm not going to fall in with Frank Tate's plans to turn Beckendale into Disneyland.
Have you listened to yourself lately? You're like a stuck record. I mean, look around you. They're log cabins, not Snow White's palace.
Yeah, well, you can laugh. I'm not going to help Frank Tate while he's still accusing Robert.
All right, so you're not going to help Frank Tate. But ripping up signposts isn't going to stop the visitors. They're rights away.
Not trying to keep them off. I'm just not encouraging them.
But don't be so stupid. Without signposts to guide them, they're even more liable to walk where you don't want them to.
Well, you could give them maps and copies of the country code. And make sure they read all the bits about closing all gates. They've done enough damage already.
You don't know it was a visitor that left the gate open.
No, but I do know it wasn't Robert. And so would you if you hadn't sold out to the Tates.
Yes, thanks. Bye. That's another party of 4 for tomorrow night, Mr. Turner. They said they'd all like trout as their main course.
Oh, well, remind me to tell Elizabeth Feldman we need some more fish, will you? Money?
What's rush?
Honestly, Mr. Turner, we really are going to have to get extra staff for all-day opening, you know. I mean, look at us. We can barely cope as it is.
It would make things easier if Elizabeth would help behind the bar.
You can't ask her to do that as well.
Well, I have told her we'd have to be more flexible in our duties.
Aye, flexible, but not bent over backwards.
Don't forget she's got other options. If you ask her to do too much, she might resign on the spot.
I don't blame her.
Not now. I think you'll find that Elizabeth and I have come to a satisfactory compromise.
For the moment.
Yes, but who else am I going to get? I shall have to advertise.
Maybe you should ask Archie.
Archie? Who's made you say that? And you know Archie's reputation for work, or rather lack of it, and he's practically a teetotaler.
Well, he might prefer it to looking after Alice all day. Honestly, Mr. Turner, I don't think it's right for him to be in charge of that child.
Yes, I do have my reservations about
Leave
that.
the lad alone. He's doing a good job.
Well, you could have a word about it. I mean, that's what godfathers are for.
Ah, Elizabeth, my dear. What can I get you?
Actually, I didn't come in for a drink. I want a word with Seth.
What?
I want you to help me change the tank filters this afternoon.
All right. I'll meet you there, but I've something to do first.
Like what?
A bit of shopping.
What's he up to now?
As long as he's doing it in his own time, I really don't mind.
Actually, I'm glad you came in, Elizabeth.
If you're going to ask about the order for Sanderson's, I will take care of it this afternoon.
Yes, I'm sure you can take care of that. Now, I wanted a word about Archie.
Archie?
Frankly, Elizabeth, I'm really rather surprised that you've agreed to let Archie look after my goddaughter. Well, your granddaughter.
Are you? Well, there's very little I can do about it.
I mean, surely there's someone more suitable.
Like who?
Well, I don't know, but...
Mr. Turner, as I see it, Archie's doing a fine job. Or would you prefer things the way they used to be, when I had to look after Alice as well as everything else?
Well, I must admit, that really wasn't very satisfactory.
No, it wasn't. Now, if you don't mind, I'll get on with my work.
Morning, Frank. Planning a bonfire?
Do you know anything about this?
No, what's the matter?
Joe's signposts for the rights of way, they've all been dug up. What's he up to?
Maybe he wants to reposition them.
Well, well. What have we here? I give you one guess as to who dug this lot up.
Jack.
10 out of 10.
Isn't all this getting a bit out of hand, Frank?
Well, of course it is. But don't tell me that, tell it to him.
Jack not back yet?
No.
Oh, photos. Let's have a look. I can never wait for mine to come back from the chemist. I'd rather nip into Hotton and get them done in an hour.
Not really very good.
Oh, it can't be any worse than mine.
Oh, that's the villa.
Oh, doesn't the pool look lovely?
Yes, I didn't go into it, though. And that's a restaurant in the town.
Oh, looks like there was plenty of wine flowing. Hey, is that champagne there?
That's it.
Well, that's given Frank Tate enough timber back to build another cabin.
What a stupid waste of time and energy.
Sarah's right. Getting back at Frank Tate isn't going to solve anything. Far better to let things settle, for Robert's sake.
Not while they're still accusing him of something he didn't do.
Oh, that's easy for you to say, isn't it? But what about Robert? He doesn't understand your argument. He thinks he was banned because he killed that pony.
He knows what we think, Sarah.
He sees you acting like an idiot and he doesn't know what to think. What's more important to you? Scoring points off Frank Tate or your son's happiness?
Hello, Joe. I wanted a word about the job, assistant manager.
You've decided not to take it?
Yes. Well, I've thought it over quite hard, and It's not that I wouldn't want to work with you or Frank Tate. I'm happy where I am. No hard feelings.
Of course not. Thanks for letting me know so quickly.
You don't seem surprised I said no.
Oh, Eric Pollard said you were under a bit of pressure.
Oh, he did he? What else did he say?
Only that Alan had offered you a pay rise and didn't want to see you go.
I see.
Like I said, thanks for letting me know.
Oh, by the way, you haven't seen Seth this afternoon, have you?
Why have you lost him?
Well, it's beginning to look that way.
Well, if I see him, I'll tell you looking for him.
Thanks.
Oh, come on. What do people usually do with their holiday snaps? They give you the lot to look through and then they talk about them for hours. This is the beach, this is the kids on the beach, this is us on the beach.
Well, maybe she didn't want to bore you.
No, it wasn't like that. You must have noticed. There were loads of pictures she didn't let me see.
Well, maybe there were pictures of a topless beach. Pass that little spanner, will you?
Annie on a topless beach.
Maybe not. But you're right, though. She's not been the same since she got back from Spain. And what's all this about Glyndebourne?
I'm bored.
What would you like to do?
Ride a pony. Why can't I?
Why don't we go and collect the eggs? I haven't done that yet. Come on.
I'm going to ride a pony again.
I don't know, love. Soon, though. We'll see to it.
Do grown-ups always know it's true?
You mean about the gate? Grown-ups don't always know what's true. Sometimes they think they do, even when they're wrong. Like that gate. You know you didn't leave it open, don't you?
But people say I did.
All that matters is that you know what's true. And so do I, and so does your dad. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, because we know. Don't forget that. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, then.
I must say, it's very pleasant to be able to share a quiet moment with you again, Caroline. After a busy spell. You ought to drop in more often.
I wish I was here to do that, Alan. Actually, that's why I've called round. Got to go back to Scarborough tomorrow.
There's nothing wrong, is there? Well, with your mother, I mean.
No, everything's fine, but I can't stay indefinitely. And also, I wanted to ask your opinion about something.
My opinion? Well, ask away, my dear.
You see Nick and Alice, don't you? Are they really all right?
Yes, they're fine. I try to see as much of Alice as I can, because as her godfather, I feel it's my duty.
And Archie?
Oh, do you mean him looking after her all the time? Yes, I was talking to Carol about that only this lunchtime.
Carol?
Well, she has a daughter too, you know. And we both feel that he's not the ideal person to be looking after a young child.
Oh, at last, somebody with some sense. But I'm afraid we're in a minority. I'm worried sick, Alan.
Have you spoken to Nick about that?
Yeah, Nick and Kathy. No, thanks. They can't seem to understand why I'm concerned. Nick thinks I'm interfering. He's barely speaking to me at the moment. How can I possibly go back to Scarborough, Alan, when I'm needed here?
Well, was it all the posts?
Right, so. I think I can get some new walkways sorted out, though.
Yeah, more work. Damn the man, it's ridiculous. I was going to forget the whole thing, but after this, I'm hanged if I will.
Yeah, well, that's the trouble with our Jack, I'm afraid. He doesn't care how ridiculous something is once he gets his teeth into it. It's the principle of the matter.
Look, I don't care about the principle. It's a childish tit-for-tat. Get him to see sense.
I tried to this morning.
Well, try again. He's your brother, for goodness sake.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Anyway, what's the situation with the Houghton show? Are there any events that we should get people involved with?
Well, it seems to have slowed up a bit.
Oh, come on, Joe. Surely Kim's not the only one who's training for this thing.
Things have sort of petered out, Frank.
We need a showing from the whole of the village, right across the board.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit difficult, though, the way things are.
You mean the way things are with Jack? Listen, I want that thing with him sorted out. I don't care how you do it, but do it. Okay?
Yes, Frank.
I've caused nothing but trouble for Kathy and Nick since I came back.
That can't be true. Is that what they're saying?
They don't need to say it.
They can't blame you for putting your granddaughter's interests first.
No, they're right. And I know what they're thinking. How can I possibly comment on the way Nick's chosen to bring up his child when I haven't been around for either of my children lately?
But Nick and Kathy are adults. They're not children. They don't need you around. Well, not all the time.
I haven't been here even some of the time when they've really needed me.
They know where you are. You're only a car drive away.
I've got to stay with Mum, Alan. I haven't got any choice. Nobody else to look after her.
Yes, yes, we all know that, Caroline.
And the trouble is, I blame myself for pushing Nick into employing Archie because I kept on about him sorting out his child mining arrangements.
Look, Caroline, as an old friend and as Alice's godfather, I promise you she'll be taken care of. You have my word on that.
Thanks, Alan. That means a lot to me.
Hiya.
Hello. No, Alice.
Nick's back from work now, so I'm off duty.
How was she today?
Oh, she's great. She's a bit tired now, though. We took her over to that playgroup in Autumn with Lynn and Peter. I think it's tired her out, though, you know, being with other kids.
She's just not used to it, that's all. Are you going to take her regularly?
Well, I don't see why not. She really enjoyed it.
Good. And you're coping all right?
Yeah, I think I enjoy it as much as Alice.
Oh, listen. You haven't seen Seth on your travels, have you?
Well, if he'd been at the playgroup, I think I'd have noticed. Why, what's up?
Well, nothing really. It's just I haven't seen him since early lunchtime.
I hope he's all right.
Hi. Hi, Kathy. Just in time for tea.
Did you bring a pony, Kathy?
Yes, I did. He's tethered up in the yard.
Go on, but be careful.
I will. Can you take some sugar?
Here, I'll take these. There you go. I saw Jack's handiwork today.
The signposts. Little chance of a peace treaty at the moment.
How's Robert?
Still upset. He doesn't understand what's going on, but he sees the grown-ups feuding, and I think he blames himself.
You've told him it's not his fault.
Well, of course. But it's hard for a 6-year-old to understand, especially when he's really missing his riding lessons.
Well, it's not our feud. Anyway, I've had an idea about riding lessons.
Me too. I want Robert to have riding lessons again. I think it would stop him worrying about all this.
Great minds think alike. It'd be difficult to do it at home farm, though, if Frank found out.
What about here at Emmerdale?
I'm sure I can manage that.
Could you? I know Robert would love it.
Since Frank closed the trekking centre, I don't have much else to do at the moment. OK, but we'd best keep it quiet. We don't want to give anyone an excuse for another row, do we?
Of course. It's really good of you, Kathy. Robert will be thrilled.
Vodka and tonic, please, Carol.
Right.
Evening.
Hiya.
Oh, evening.
Has Seth been in this evening?
No, I haven't seen him since dinner time.
He never turned up to change the filters like we'd arranged.
You don't think his amnesia's come back, do you?
I doubt it. He wouldn't try the same trick twice. When he does get back, dock him a day's pay. That'll cure him.
No, Jack came round to see me last week. Went absolutely mad because I couldn't say for definite that it wasn't their Robert who left that gate open.
I'm getting it from both sides. Frank rings out to get Jack to back down. Jack thinks I'm taking sides with Frank.
And you're not?
I'm not taking anybody's side.
Must be difficult for you, that.
That's not the word for it. Look, it was an accident. As simple as that. Now, why can't people just let it drop?
Another one.
Good. Tar.
Bitter, please, Carol.
Is there anything wrong?
No, not at all. In fact, I think I've sorted out a lot of things. Especially now that I've decided to stay on at the Fish and Game Farm. I think I can see the way my future needs to go.
And does the future include me? Elizabeth?
To tell you the truth, Eric, I don't know.
Well, what can I do?
It's not what you can do, it's more the way you are. I wasn't sure after all that business with the sideboard that...
I thought we'd...
Like I said, there was the sideboard. And you have been pretty possessive about me taking the job with Joe because you thought it was a good thing.
Well, I didn't mean to. It's just that I care about you very much. And I'm sure that us being together has changed me.
Has it? Really?
Absolutely. I'm sorry if you think I've been pushing you around.
Well, I do feel like I've been pressurized by you recently. Take the suggestion you made last week. Were you serious?
Sorry?
About buying somewhere to live in Beckindale.
Buying? Oh, yes. Yes, of course.
Well, in that case, I'll think about it some more. But no promises, Eric. It must be my decision.
You know, Nick wouldn't let Archie look after Alice if he didn't think it was good for her. He's good with children.
I know he is, but is he the right person to be looking after her all the time?
Nick thinks so, and you've got to respect his decision. Mum, you've got to trust him.
I want to, love, but it's really difficult when I've got such reservations. If I could stay a bit longer, see how it worked out.
You've got responsibilities too. They're enough to worry about.
I know. Nick doesn't think I'm supporting him very much, does he?
I just want you to stop worrying.
I can't.
But there's no need.
Just wish I could make him see sense.
Look, forget about what you think Nick should be doing. Look at how happy he and Alice are. That's what's important.
I know you're right, love, but I can't help the way I feel. I'm sorry. I'll go and see him in the morning before I go.
Very good.
Whatever are they watching in there?
9 Mount Elm Street, Part 47 or something. Alex went to the video shop on the way home.
Well, it doesn't sound like my cup of tea. I think I'll take my romantic saga to bed.
Probably the best thing. I think I'll be following you.
You're going to the Hotton show this year?
Yeah, I might do. Why?
Could do with a bit of help, that's all.
Thought you might say.
Small whiskey, please, Alan. That sound like you, Eric? Yes, well, it's still a few days to payday, old boy. Do you know anyone in the village with a house for sale? Cheap.
Why do you want to buy a house?
To tell you the truth, it's because of Elizabeth. I've sort of committed myself now, and I can't back out.
Do you want to?
No. It's just that I thought she meant finding somewhere to rent, not buy. Seems I got the wrong end of the stick.
Yes, that could be a problem.
Yeah, very me, especially when I tell her I can't afford to buy a house and she thinks I'm trying to back out.
Alan, Carol.
Right, Carol.
What did you do to her?
Search me. Where have you been? Elizabeth Fuller's been looking for you.
What's the matter? It's all his fault.
Seth, are you all right? What's happened?
Somebody get him a pint.
Looks as if he's had several already.
I nipped into Horton to get myself some new boots.
Really? And that's without telling Mrs. Feldman or I that you wanted time off?
For my dinner hour.
Until now? Oh, come on, Seth, that's the worst excuse you've ever used.
I was nearly arrested, that's what happened. And it's all his fault.
Arrested? What, you mean by police?
Well, as good as. I saw these boots in this shop, so I went in to buy them with my credit card. Next thing I know, I'm being taken to this office by this store detective. He said I weren't Sir Armstrong and I was using a stolen credit card.
I might have known you were trying to use the card you reported as lost, weren't you?
Well, it was still my card, weren't it? Only they said it was cancelled.
You were supposed to use the new one.
I could have. I chucked it away when I found my old one.
Give up.
I had 3 degrees in that office for hours.
What happened to old card?
Well, they kept it at the shop, didn't they? And I don't want any more of them.
Well, where are boots?
They won't let me have them. They're still at shop and all. And it's all his fault.